So we're heading into Rubelite Oasis, drop 1, 42 the answer, versus Swamp Foxes.
How will 228 play this?
Yeah, we know kind of what 42's capable of on this map. And honestly, they need to change up that strategy anyways. So this is really going to be a bit of a... Who knows? We'll have to see. I guarantee you, though, there's going to be something over Theta right off the bat.
Mystery Mech Warrior.
All right, I am on the the Swamp Foxes side. We do have an Annihilator on the field, the slowest mech on the field right now.
The baby Blackwatch side.
He is using PPCs. They have the Awesome with PPCs, Black Knight with that pinpoint laser build out, the 4P with those medium lasers, and then of course the Stalker 3F, LRMs, SRMs.
We have some different mechs here for 42. Catapult K2 running 2 PPCs, 2 medium lasers, 2 machine guns. I like that mech, by the way. That's a good mech. And Rifleman 3C with dual AC-10s, 2 medium lasers. Some pinpoint damage there, but we have not seen those mechs in the semifinals before. Go along with your standard Black Knight, Stalker, Locust, Banshee, Commando, and Hunchback 4J. Those, for the most part, pretty standard, but the Catapult K2 and the Rifleman, new mechs.
UAV activated.
Looks like a Locust standoff at the cap point.
So the Locust moved up and saw the cap begin flashing, didn't try to stop him though, immediately popped a UAV, but conceded it to Swamp Foxes. So right off the bat, big victory for Swamp Foxes, securing that point. Now,
not only that,
will they get somebody up to stop him from just capping it back? The UAV helps with that, but they are working to shoot down that UAV. I think this Locust is waiting for that UAV to go down before making his move, but has enough time passed that he can step up without getting scratch on him from the other location. Looks like we got a Black Knight moving up right now, but only one mech. It's not super easy to be able to stop him, and he's behind terrain, so the answer able to answer that Theta cap with their own.
And that Black Knight is sporting some sweet bolt-ons there. Wings and a mohawk. That's what we like to see.
So 2 caps in favor of the answer. They're going off for that 3rd cap right now at Kappa, but we have a bit of a Wolfpack movement to that back Sigma point. We'll have to see whether or not the answer is going to keep their eyes on the prize and prevent that back cap.
Looks like right now just some early trading. They are very clustered up. They need to be careful of strikes here. We've seen strikes be very effective. There's one out right now on the Rifleman, and it's an airstrike that hits the Catapult as well.
So this back group, they're just watching to see if they get made. They're all crossing the gap together. I don't think anybody's seen them coming, but it looks like they're sending that Locust back to Sigma. They must have just smelled it coming, because he's going back to take a look to see if anybody's working the back gap.
This Locust needs to be real careful, because he could get in a world of hurt with those 3 mechs back there.
He has no idea they're
Puts
there
the
yet.
UAV up. That's a good play.
And
but he's going to come around the corner. Locust on Locust.
So they are made now. We'll have to see if they send the rest of them back. Backing up in a light, though, that's pretty brutal. Bro Tiger needs to get out of there quick. He's getting chased. They need to send some more mechs back to help him out. They can't just concede Sigma. He gave them the information they needed, but he's got to get out with his life and get some help.
He is out. There's a commander there. They see the UAV. They have to know that there's 3 mechs back there.
They can afford to lose the point.
Trading war too.
They can afford to lose this point if it means they're going to be able to jump on them and actually kill some of these lights, which would be pretty key. But they actually need to get it done. If they just let them take Sigma and leave, that's not going to be good.
228's Black Knight actually moved up and took Theta. The Hunchback has also moved up. They are losing the trading war. Prometheus in the Rifleman down to 56%. The Catapult K2 down to 68. Some of these mechs are taking some extra damage. Looks like they're
making their push. That Black Knight able to just drill them with the lasers, and the PPCs are just not making connections.
Yeah, the Black Knight is doing the right thing, backing up, getting some room.
And the Rifleman goes down.
That is not a tanky mech. You don't want to be the one leading. And that Commando crests early. He's taking a lot of fire as well. Finally, the other mechs come in for 42. That commando seemed like he was in a bit early, but he did get the Black Knight to turn around. That could be a good thing.
But the Black Knight's behind cover, though, so they're not able to focus on the Black Knight. They're trying to get that Hunchback down, but Tolson's just kind of messing with the Black Knight, keeping him out of the fight, at least for a period.
Stalker goes down as well for 42. Not a great location to be pushing in. 228 has surrounded them, basically, has mechs up on the high ground, just shooting down into this Stalker Annihilator. If that Annihilator can point his guns down low enough.
They were able to take down that Black Knight. They're switching over to the 4P. Self-destruction by that 4P. Now the answer needs to get out of this pit, or they're going to lose the rest of their mechs before they can even get a shot off.
And they're going to have a hard time getting out of the pit. The Stalker has moved up.
The Annihilator able to take out that Hunchback. Resource point Beta is ours. Not looking good for 42. So they're down by tickets, down by caps, and only 3 mechs remaining. This one is going to be over. So starting off with just not winning the trades, they got themselves softened up and then made a ballsy push through the middle, but they gave up that high ground, and Swamp Fox is just set up with a really nice firing line in the high ground. They just didn't have any options on that push. And that's the same thing we were talking about before. Know when it's time to go and know when it's time to be passive. And unfortunately, that's a tough one.
They didn't have many choices.
They didn't have many choices.
They were losing the caps.
They losing the caps. They were losing the trades. I mean, there's not much you can do. I think pushing was their only option. It's just the
path of the push.
The path of the push. I don't think there was any good way to do that. I mean, Swamp Fox is set up in a very superior position on that side of the map, able to receive anything that comes at him. The only thing I can think is if they maybe came around this side of the map, you know, the Kappa side, they could have done it under a little bit more cover, but
I think you have to stay high ground on that push. I think that's your best option to do. I mean, it's still going to be ugly, but you know, if you don't want it to be ugly, you can't get in that situation.
Really,
right? You got to either have the caps or you got to win the trades. You can't lose both and expect to have a clean push coming out of that.
I mean, we can't even really say, oh well, you know, they should have done the push better or something like that. They, like you said, they got to win those trades. They have no options but to win those trades, and that's what got them where they were.
They lose the trades, unfortunately, for 42, but that was a wolf pack of 3 mechs to their 2 lights. So you're up a mech. You know, that's kind of what you've got to play to your advantage. 228 sets up beautifully, uses the wolf pack to their advantage, and then when the push comes, they move to receive, and very clean by 228. 42, back to the drawing board. That was not the answer.
I am willing to bet that that's why they called the push when they did, is because they knew that there were 3 mechs not in the fight and they wanted to go.
Yeah.
So I can't really fault them for that. Just from a numbers perspective, they are missing 3 mechs to their 1, so that is the time to go. But you know, maybe the timing wasn't right. Obviously, the mechs being in the backfield there was a bit of a surprise. They had the wherewithal to go back there with a Locust to check on it, but that didn't necessarily get them much. I mean, the damage really low from a lot of these guys. 402 out of the Banshee, but Rifleman only pulling 36 damage. 35 out of the Locust, but he was obviously the one in the backfield. But you need to get those numbers up if you want to survive against that 527, 503, 445, and 484 from the opposite team. You can really just chalk this up to make your shots, and it could be because the mechs they chose. You know, the Rifleman, you know, the K2 was it able to peak better than the Annihilator or the Awesome? You know, it just seems like that could have been a deck choice. You know, the deck choice to bring those mechs instead worked against them.
Yeah, and the Rifleman has those nice high mounts, but it is, I mean, it in regular play with the Mech Lab, it's a pretty weak mech in terms of armor and defensibility, and when you add in stock mechs with stock armor, I mean, that's a soft mech. So you definitely don't want to be up at the front, and that Rifleman was basically near the front of the push there. I mean, he was already very hurt, but tough to see.
Yep. So it was up to Swamp Foxes as to where we were going to head next, and they chose Grimplexes. So right back into what Swamp Foxes is used to, and coming off of a win. they might be able to ride this into a 2-0 decision unless the answer can figure something out here really quick. I mean, they definitely tried something different, just didn't seem to work, and there's probably a reason we're not seeing those mechs on the field all that often, at least in this contest. They must have been trying to achieve something with those choices. Did they only have 2 lights, do you recall, for the answer? Was it the Commando and the Locust?
Yep. So
they seem to opt to give up one of their lights in favor of basically having a lot more people closer in tonnage. They must have been putting a lot of stock in their trades, bringing only the 2 lights, and they didn't get the results. And that, I mean, when you put all of your energy into the trades and then you lose the trades, there's nothing else that you can really do to try and sell.
Match over.
So, got to make those trades, got to set up in the position where you can be successful making those trades. It seemed like 42 was not fanned out very much at all. They were all kind of in the same general vicinity of each other. They were probably getting struck out. I remember you mentioned a big strike at one point. Just clumped up. You know, Swamp Foxes, they had a great fan out. They had people in all areas there, so when the push came, they were just slaughtering 42 as they pushed. 42 just needs to really fan out. If they're going to put all their energy into trading, you need to give yourself room to breathe.
Spread out.
Spread out.
Get some angles, spread out. Yeah. And don't let yourself get striked to death. I mean, that was easy money for them. Not only are you clumped together so you can't, get the angles that you need. At the same time, now you're bumping into each other. You're trying to peek. Someone's trying to back up. Someone else is trying to go around the corner. It's just a disaster from that. And 228 just drops strikes in the same place every time, and you're guaranteed to hit at least 2 mechs. I mean, poor decision in placement by 42's pilots. I don't know if that's the drop caller's responsibility or the individual pilot responsibility in spreading out, but need to do, if you're going to do the trade direct, like you said, you need to do better than that. So 228, on the other hand, they didn't, it wasn't just something that 42 just tossed it. 228 didn't make a mistake, right? They played a good, clean match, and to go along with that, here's 42 not playing their best, and it's an easy win.
I do like that they had the wherewithal to send their Locust back to check that point. I suppose the only thing that could have been better is if they didn't take him back there and used him in that push as well. But, I mean, how do you know? I mean, he wanted to get early warning. He must have been a little bit late because they were just arriving to Sigma as soon as he got there. And he was playing the wall really, really tight, so when he came whipping around the corner, he went face-to-face with the other Locust and 2 other mechs. He didn't really pay for it necessarily, but he didn't get early enough information. I'm not sure, like I said, it probably wouldn't have mattered, but, they had the wherewithal to send somebody back there to check it, and that, I think that was a good play by that light pilot, or by the caller that had him head back that way. But yeah, I mean, we'll have to see what happens here, especially on this map. Are we going to see only 2 lights out of 42? I think that would be a mistake. I really do.
I agree. We've seen Grim a lot. Like I said, before that last match, 228 had only played on Grim. And every time we see Grim, it's basically cap first, main body second. 228 has gotten some wins being aggressive with their main body. They've also could have won more if they were a little more aggressive, but if you ignore the caps on this map, you're in trouble.
Yep. Just a reminder, we are doing a giveaway at the end of the stream based on chat participation, so get hyped up in chat, let us know you're here, and you'll automatically be entered into the drawing for a mech pack. I almost said it. I totally almost said map pack.
You should have.
Hashtag map pack. So, drop 2, Grim Plexus. Swamp Fox is up 1-0 on the series in this best of 3. I feel like they're playing at home now, home and away. So Swamp Foxes is back home.
Yeah, that kind of was.
And they're up. Yeah. I mean, we'll have to see. I mean, there's a reason 42 didn't pick this map, and it's probably because they don't want to play here, but now they're forced to play here. And well, maybe they'll surprise themselves. Maybe they have a good strategy for this map, especially since they've seen enough of it. I mean, how much Rubelite have we seen in the tournament so far that hasn't been 42 playing it? But they've seen a ton of Grim Plexus in play. They have something to compare it to.
Command coming in. Capture and hold the resource point. Stop any hostiles that get in your way.
All right, we are on the 42 side. They have a Kentaro on the field with 1 LRM-5, 3 SRM-6. They're going Brawler on that. They've also got a Wolverine with 2 medium lasers, a small laser, large laser, and an SRM-6. They've got a Dragon with an LRM-10, AC-2, and 2 medium lasers. Probably pretty tanky, though. And then Quick Draw with SRM, medium lasers, LRM. So that is an interesting, really heavy push deck. Leading the charge with an Orion, SRM's AC-10, medium lasers, that 4P with that pinpoint medium laser, and a Banshee, PPC's AC-10, SRM-6. And they are going hard up the left side. This is a move you rarely see. Mechs on this side heading up this left side.
Are trying to catch 228 in a spot where they expect them to be, but 228 usually plays on the Epsilon side. Interesting to see that push direction. 228 standard deck here, awesome. Banshee, Black Knight, Hunchback 4P, Javelin, Wolfhound, Locust, Stalker. That's basically what they've been bringing when they run Grim Plexus.
I'm having a little bit of PTSD here thinking about our mad push this direction. We did this once, and we attempted to take that hill from Sig, and Sig was able to set up on the top of the hill and slaughter us as we came over the open field. But they are, 42 taking the faster mechs versus the normal mechs.
Mechs see them though.
This is gonna make them right here.
God.
Surprise!
Surprise! He saw him.
The call has been made. Let's see what they do to react to that. Iron Kilo still marching up to the top.
On the hill. He's gonna be first. They need to ignore this Locust and charge up
They're shifting
this hill.
left. They're going to try and catch the Awesome, the Banshee, and the Stalker. They might be able to make it here. But yeah, they went for mobility, and they got rid of range and went in favor of mobility, and it might pay them off here because they are right where they need to be. They might be able to continue this charge through and take out a lot of this armor.
Is the Stalker going to get over the hill in time? 228, I think they're realizing they can't make it away.
Great strike leading that charge, too. Looks like they're putting a strike of their own. This might go right across the entire party here. Yeah, that was a 4-mech strike.
Hits.
But here they go. They got in there. They're at the range they want to fight on now. It all comes down to focus fire. They're leading the way. Kentaro gets nailed, but they're going for that Stalker. And he gets taken down as well. They're continuing on to the next mech. They can't split their fire, though. Looks like the 4P was kind of working on that Black Knight, but they are switching over to the Awesome. Oh, they're splitting their fire now. That's dangerous.
Splitting, yeah.
The Orion gets taken down.
The Orion goes down. This is disorganized for 42. They need to get back on target here. Looks like maybe the Banshee is the primary target now.
Yeah, but they're not all hitting the same target, though. The Banshee is down to 52%. He is tanking very well, but he gets taken down himself. We're even up 2 deaths to 2 deaths. And the Lurch and the other Banshee finally getting into the fight at 93%. He should be able to do some work as he gets in there. But Subwoofer in that 4P gets taken down. Tolson in that Commando working with the Wolverine, trying to get that Black Knight. That'll be a big pickup. He gets taken down, but they also lose their quick draw. Swamp Fox is up 1.
The other thing to keep in mind here is if they lose too many mechs and they don't get enough kills quick enough, the caps are going to be a problem again.
Tolson needs to keep himself alive in that Commando. He's the fastest one that'll be able to get those points back. Even though he needs to be in there getting that fight, he can't get legged. If he gets legged, that's going to be huge for Swamp Foxes, especially with Draven called in that Locust still alive, joining the fight now.
Tolson needs to give a little room to that Banshee, and the Banshee maybe needs to give a little room to self-destruction. And that's maybe the story of this game.
I had really high hopes for 42 on that push. It was looking really good. They got the initial pickup on the Stalker. It took them a little bit longer than I think they should have to kill that Stalker. But after that, I was worried about it because it looked like they were starting to split their targets. And they were not focus firing. If they would have gone to the next guy, to the next guy, to the next guy, to the next guy, I think they could have had Swamp Foxes taken down. But the focus fire from Swamp Fox is clearly superior here. I think if they won that main body engagement and kept Tolson alive, they would have been able to come back and win this one. But that all
against the 3-cap
came down to the focus. But the speed was there, man. The speed, the aggression, they got on top of him. That Locust, if that Locust didn't see him, though, they would have been all over them on the top of that mountain. That Locust getting his eyes out there.
That was clutch. Yeah, if he hadn't seen him, that would have been all over. But they still had him where they want him. In the words of Dennis Green, they let him off the hook.
Man, 0 match score out of the Dragon. I wonder if he had a nasty team strike in that one. But Lurch and the Banshee pulling 551, 359 out of the Wolverine, 446 out of Tolson in that commando. So obviously he was doing work with the rest of his group. But, you know, in terms of damage, relatively even between the two teams. And to me, that just screams lack of focus. I mean,
yeah.
Man, I thought 42 had that one, but it just fell apart in the end.
Yeah, that was tough to see. I mean, couldn't have set it up any better for them. Maybe the Locust not seeing them would have been the cherry on top. Still got what they wanted. Got basically the 4 assault mechs separated by the rest, you know, from the rest of the main body there for 228. They're trying to get everyone back together, They come over the hill and they get their first kill, and then all of a sudden you got, you know, 3 guys shooting at this guy, 5 guys.
I can see it falling apart. I'm like, oh, are they going to go to this guy next? No, well, some of them are going over here. They chose the Awesome. You know, the Awesome has PPCs. He can't use those weapons.
Yeah, tough pick.
Close in, but so, you know, I can see the merit in that. But personally, I feel that the Black Knight would have been a better pick for their entire team to jump on, because he's got a lot of output, a hell of a lot of output, and you know, well, they did kind of save the damage from the Awesome that he wasn't able to necessarily keep shooting by closing in on him. I also feel like he was probably able to keep shooting the entire time anyways, because they didn't have their whole team within 90 meters. So it's like, you didn't really save yourself anything. You made him panic. I mean, anytime you go up to a mech and you start blasting that mech, he goes from, I'm going to kill you, to I'm protecting myself and using my armor spreading. So it could be any mech on the field that you do that to. And you're making him not shoot anymore. So you could have done that to the Black Knight, who's got a huge alpha, and you take that mech out of the field just by harassing him and trying to kill him next. Yeah, the Awesome would have been shooting you, but, you know, either mech would have worked. I think the Black Knight would have been a better pick, but bottom line, they needed to make a decisive decision as to which one they were going for next. And
in a perfect situation, it doesn't matter, right? You just pick a mech, you kill him, you move on.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you want to take the big ones down first. I get it. You take the Awesome down. But if all 8 of your mechs are shooting that Awesome, he's going to go down in 2 seconds, and then you can move on to the Black Knight. Or vice versa, right? You just got to stay together.
Everything up until after the Stalker got killed. Even maybe just get that Stalker down a little bit quicker. Maybe they just weren't landing the shots as well as they should have, but the Stalker seemed to live a decent amount of time. But everything up until that point, basically, I liked out of 42. Yeah. This isn't a strat that you can run off. This is a one-off strat that surprises your opponent, and I think Swamp Fox was caught with their pants down. I really did.
They were.
They had a little bit early warning from that Locust, though. That really saved them. I think that could have been a disaster if that Locust did not spot them on the run-up. But I think 42 gained enough ground and had enough speed that they still should have been able to get it done. You know, I really liked that, and I liked what I saw, and I was excited to see that go down, and it just, you have to play through to the end, and they just couldn't get that focus. So, but that's it for this. 42 eliminated. They are the 4th team now to be eliminated from the semifinals. 8 teams